Hey guys, my name is Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter. Welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a Flosstube Extra. We are going to talk about a cross-stitch planner tracker from Rainbow Sheet Studio. This is available on Etsy. Ebony from In Stitches with Ebony first posted her kind of walkthrough of this a few weeks ago. And I was watching it and I was like, OMG. When she started showing the features of it, I was like, OMG, sign me up. I was super excited. So again, this planner is on Etsy. I will link it down below. When you purchase it, this is available with Excel or with Google Sheets. The original version has, you can hold up to 100 projects on it. I obviously have more than that, so I reached out to her and I said, hey, what if you have more than 100? And she was like, well, how many do you have? And I said, a few hundred. So she created an extension for me to use Excel, and I can have up to 400 projects. Alara also reached out to her and she was able to extend it for the Google Sheets version. So if you choose to purchase this, the version that will be available for regular purchase on Etsy will be the one where you can do up to 100 projects. I want to say she said she's going to have an add-on on there if you wanted her to send you the extended version that does up to 400 if you are crazy like me and you have a bunch of projects. So I purchased the Excel version because I'm going to be using this on my computer and I have Microsoft Office. So when you first open this up, the first part down here at the bottom, can you see my finger? Oh, there we are. There I am. Okay, down there at bottom. Is the instructions, and you can click on this video or this link right here and it will take you to YouTube, and she will do a video tutorial of how to use the program. It's a very good tutorial. Like, I watched Ebony's kind of walkthrough of this, and then I watched the tutorial once I was able to purchase it, and the creator does a very, very good job of doing this. So this kind of goes through kind of how to get started with it. So you enter the year in, and then it will track your stuff from January to December, tells you how to do your project details, this, that, and the other. And so it kind of, you can scroll through here and it does do like a step-by-step of what the different tabs are for that are down here. So you can watch the video and she does go through all that. This is a blank one. I do have one I'm gonna, because you can use it from year to year, you just have to start with a blank template. So this is the blank one here. So we're gonna kind of briefly go through this blank one, and then I will show you the two that I have right now. I have one for the month of December, and then I have one for when January starts. So this is the blank one, like I was saying. So you would change this block right here. You would change that to whatever year you were doing. And then what I would do if I were you is I would change the year, and then I think it's the same on Google Sheets, but once you change it, you would go up here to File and you would save as, and then you can change it to whatever year. As you can see on here, I haven't updated one for 2025, but I have one for 2024 for the month of December. This one here, I was kind of playing around with it, and then I was like, all right, let me do it for real. And so then updated 2025 because I just didn't delete the other one. But I have my blank one for 2026 because I have a feeling that this one is really this is gonna be something really good for me to use. But you have total projects planned for 2024. Right now it says 2 because it says project 1, project 2 over here on the list of projects. How many you've worked on for the year, how many you started, how many you've finished, how many days you've stitched. This has project by status because when you put your projects in, you can do down here, we're going to jump down here for a minute. You can do the name of the project, who designed it, what fabric you're using, how many stitches it is, what size project it is, the status here. You do not started, so if you have a planned new start, you can put that there. If it's an in progress thing that you're actively working on, if you finish it, you can change it, the status to finish. If you have it on hold, then you would put on hold. You can do your start date, your estimated finish date, how many days, this will automatically calculate how many days you have left. You can type in here, actual completion date. If you put stitches made prior to whatever year that you're working on, this will change to 2025 if you put next year in. This will calculate, the progress will calculate how far you are with the project. So this part here is the yearly stitchy heat chart. And so this will tell you your highest stitching day and your highest stitching month and how many stitches you've done so far for the year. And then this gives you an overall look of how many stitches you've completed per day, per month. And then over here, the total is the month total of what you stitched, right? So the only thing on this table that you're filling in, you are not entering in days left or your progress. That is auto-populated from the information that you put in. Now, how do you put in how many stitches you've done? You scroll, you're still in this project tracker, you come down here and you scroll to the right, go past that part, and you get a monthly tab right here, right? So January, you can enter in goals that you have for the month. Once you start putting them in, you will see this because I'm going to show you my one I'm using right now for December, and then I will show you January, the 2025 one I have set up ready to go. But you just basically, you will enter in, you click on the day and you enter in how many stitches you've done, hit enter, and the colors here, this will change based on how many stitches you've done. I don't remember what all the colors are. Okay, so green is a really good, like a higher count, and then it fades from green, I think, to yellow to orange to red or something. So red is basically the lowest stitch count that you have. Yeah, so let's delete these. Okay. So, but this will give you your statistics for the week. You manually enter these in, your numbers in here. As you complete a goal, you will click on this to check it off. And this gives you all the months. Now, up here, right there, that's where you can minimize the month. So when you click on that little minus sign, that will minimize your month. And then that way you can just keep up whatever month that you are actively working on. So you can minimize all of them, and it has one for every single month. There's a cute little deal, icon, whatever, that goes with them. And it goes all the way through December. Okay? So when you enter your progress in, and this, like I said, this will be a lot easier to see, to understand what I'm talking about when I show you the one that I'm working on right now. When you go to your calendar right here, you can select which month up here in the top left corner. You can select what month you want to look at, and it will give you a breakdown of each project that you've worked on. It can hold in each calendar day, it'll hold up to 7 days that you can just like visually see. And it will tell you over here how many projects you've, go away, Windows security. It will tell you how many projects you've worked on for the month. The number will be right up here under the little rainbow. And then it will tell you here, for whatever month you have selected, it'll tell you total stitches for the month, the days you've stitched for the month, how many projects you've started, and how many projects you've finished for this month. And then you can choose your the day of the week that you start the calendar. You can either do Sunday or Monday. And this information here auto-populates from your project tracker. So when you go to enter in your information, like let's just project 1, we'll say 500 stitches, right? So we'll kind of do that, and that way you can see some numbers here. So your heat chart will populate with that 500 that you did, right? And then your week populates with those statistics. When you go to your calendar, if you select the month of January, that tells you that you worked on project 1 for 500 stitches. You've stitched for 1 day, you did 500 stitches. There's your 1, and then that tells you the name of the project right there. Your timeline will have your projects listed out. You can change this to start whatever month you want, and you can do your timeline days interval of however many days you wanted. It'll give you your start date, estimated finish date, actual finish date, how many stitches it is if you enter that information in, how many stitches you've done, how many stitches are left. If you put in your total stitches and you have how many you've had done, it'll give you all this information that will auto-populate. This will also tell you on here, I don't remember what this part does. I think this will tell you kind of like per week what you've done. But again, all this stuff auto-populates. So on the summary, this is what got me. This is what got me right here. Because I was like, if you're a Flosstuber and you're watching this is some great information for you for a monthly recap or your whip parade at the end of the year. So that 500 stitches I put in for that project number 1, that tells you right there. Your highest stitching day was the 4th of January, did 500 stitches. Your highest stitching month was the month of January. For the year, you've done 500 stitches, you worked on 1 project, you stitched 1 day, but this will auto-populate throughout the year as you continue to enter information in. Then down here, when you scroll down on the summary, this will give you how many per month, how many you've started, how many you finished, how many you worked on, how many days you stitched, and then a breakdown per week, because sometimes there's 5 weeks, so she's got 5 weeks on here. How many stitches you've done per week and how many stitches you've done for the month down here at the bottom. And then monthly stitches by project. This is what I was super excited about, because you guys know that I started doing end of the month recaps, and I was like, oh, this is going to be fabulous when I do my end of the month recaps, because now I can go on here and be like, okay, this project I did this many stitches, this project I did this many stitches. And then this will also tell you how many stitches you've done for the entire year, because this line is project number 1. So this will tell you how many stitches you've done for the year on that. And again, all of this information will auto-populate when you enter it in. Now I have 400, I have the extended version. I think that's it for the summary, yeah. So I have the extended version, so I have like an endless amount of projects listed. So that's the summary tab. The Anchor DMC tab down here, you can enter in, this has Anchor and the DMC conversion, and you can, I think she has Anchor listed first, so this will, so the DMC is not numeric, it's the Anchor that is numeric, but it is color coded. So if you have 741 and you're like, well, that's an orangey color, so let me go over here and find it, you can find it. and you can enter in how many skeins you own. I have not filled this out yet. What I plan on doing is diving into my floss stash, and I'm going to see how many of each skein I own so that I can make sure that I stay up to date on my floss so I don't run out of anything, because I'm stitching a lot more. But yeah, so this has anchor, DMC, and then there's hex codes here. I'm not going to really get into the hex codes. If you purchase this program and you watch the tutorial, she will give you a breakdown as to how to use these hex codes, because it is for, you can use it to select a color when you go into the design aspect of this. I don't really plan on using that portion right now, so I'm not really going to get into it. But this final tab here is the design tab, and you can design your own little pattern. You can click here to see instructions, and this kind of tells you how to do it, right? We don't need to do all that. It's in the instructions, so it just goes like automatically to that part. But you can click on a deal. It has some of these colors automatically, like say I wanted to, you can type in the letter. When you type in that letter, and it tells you how many stitches, so you can, actually no, I'm going to change that to a red. So you can design your own little pattern here. And she does a really good tutorial of how to utilize this program. Like she does this whole little deal. So you can design your own little pattern here. And there's a way to select all the colors and this, that, and the other. So there's that feature as well, which I think is pretty cool if that's something that you want to do. So let me show you my 2025 list. So this is the one for 2025. I listed out every single whip that I have right now. So I have 210. Not as many as I thought, so we will have to remedy that. But obviously I have no stitches listed on here, so all this information over here is going to be blank. But you can filter this by status. Right now I have only the ones that are listed between temperature stitching, Monopoly, Bake Off, and then anything that is eligible to pull as a weekly project. And you can also, like if I had, you can filter it so that it shows on hold only. So these are all my other whips. I knew my start date for Fairy Tale Cottage, so I went ahead and put that in. So this filter is for on hold. You can also hit this X, that'll clear the filter. Now all of my projects are listed. I started filling out the information that I knew. I'm not really going to stress about having a lot of this information in here because it's not stuff I normally will track. But this little pie chart up here tells you the projects by status. So I have 143 on hold and I have 67 that are in progress. Total projects planned up here for 2025 are 210. And yeah, so that's all of them. And so it's like, well, I don't want to be scrolling up and down, right? So I'm going to filter my projects to be in progress only. So now I have all of my stuff that's in progress. And what I did was I went ahead and sorted this alphabetically. No, I entered it all in alphabetically based off of my whip my list I had in Excel already. And then one thing that you can also do if you wanted to just enter in, say I wanted to enter in projects like for my temperature stitching, right? I can deselect everything and then I could select, let's just say I wanted to enter in information for Artist Kitchen, Cherry Blossom, we'll just pick some random projects, Cupid's Cafe and Friends Frame. And I say okay, and that stuff will pop up and I can enter in, I can come over here to my tracker and I can enter that information in here. So, and then you can hit this little box right here that will change it to select all. Okay. Actually, no, go back to in progress. And no, filter, hang on, in progress, whoops, in progress only. There we go. Okay, so those are all the ones that are in progress. So as I enter information in on here, this will start getting filled out. Right now for the month of January, I have on here to increase honeymoon sunset by 1%. So once I hit 39%, I can check that off and see that'll increase my percent complete and let me know how many goals I have uncompleted. My whip of shame goal is another one, and finish one project is my third goal. That's really all I can show about stuff without information. So let's go over one more to my current list. So this is this year. This is for the month of December, and I barely have any project information in here. I am literally just adding projects as I work on them. So honeymoon sunset, I did go ahead and I had started entering this information in, and so I had total stitches on here, and then I put stitches made prior to 2024, which was the stitch count. I just wanted how many, like, it's not really prior to 2024, it was prior to when I started using the program, which was after my whip parade. So this is actually like starting fresh with my new plans, if that makes sense. So December the 31st, I'm going to open up my 2025 one, and I'm going to go through, and all of the ones that are like in Pattern Keeper, I can go ahead and enter in their total stitches and the stitches that are already completed on it, so that I will have a progress update on that. But my heat chart here, I've been tracking my stitches. So my heat chart here is telling me how many stitches I've made for the month of December already. My highest stitching day was the day I was home sick with a fever. I did 2,377 stitches on that day. And so far for the month, I've done, so the highest stitching month is December with 13,688, because that is all I am tracking. So the total stitches is actually the yearly count, which is just December, because that's all I'm tracking on this right now. So when you scroll over, I have all of my months minimized right here, because all I'm tracking on this version is December. So we can actually enter, I don't remember all of it, but we can enter some of this information in real quick. Let's see. So what I've been doing is, I'm kind of like doing this number here, but I'm also paying attention to this up here on the Excel sheet. So it's PH is the 26, because as you get down, you're not going to see the date. So it's PH is the one I need. But Bake the World, I did, this was all the 25th. Today's the 26th. I just got done filming my Flosstube. I'm about to, I just got done editing it. So y'all will be seeing the Flosstube before you see this. But Bake the World, I did 450 stitches. And it's kind of like a yellowish color because of all these days where I did a crap ton of stitches on the other projects. I know beach, I don't know if I have beach getaway on here. See, I'm just adding projects as I go right now. Hang on. So beach getaway, PH. I did 100. What else did I work on yesterday? I'm trying to think. Oh my God, where's my mouse? There it is. Oh, Merry Christmas. Do I have that listed on here already? See, that's why when I did my 2025 one, I was like, well, let me see if I can arrange this somehow. But when I did the sort alphabetically, it didn't sort all of the information, it just sorted the titles of the projects. So I went back and did it alphabetically first before I started entering information in. And any of my new starts will just get added to the bottom, no big deal. So at my mom's, I did Merry Christmas, and I worked on Sweet Bee. I did Sweet Bee, Merry Christmas, and I started working on the deal, Bake the World, and then on 3 Bird Watchers. 222, I think is what I did. Now, I will say my program is running a little slower because of the vast amount of spaces I have for projects. She did warn me that my program is going to run a bit slower because of the size of the file that she had to do. So my stitch count has gone up to 14,660. And if we go over to, hang on, let me see. So all of these are, so again, I don't have all this information in here. I entered my start dates in on this stuff as I did new starts. So that was Cake Shop, that was my new start. Sugar Skull was my new start last week. If I do my new start before January the 1st, I will go ahead and add it on here. Otherwise, it will just go into the January one. So when you go to my calendar, see what I mean? All the stuff from my project tracker, from this information that I've entered in here, right here, I have no goals this month, but the information that I have entered in here auto-populated to over here. So already you're getting a little sneak peek because I'm going to use this info when I do my update. So I have selected the month of December. I have my calendar starting on Sunday because that's how we operate over here in the US for the most part. But I've worked on 38 different projects so far this month, and when I enter my stuff in, it generates the information on here. There are a couple days where I worked on more than one project, but if you work on it, it shows up in yellow. If you start something, it shows up in light blue. And if you finish something, not the stitch count, but the actual name of the piece, if you finish something, it shows up in green. So you got my 2 starts so far, or 3 starts, I'm sorry. I started the Friends Frame, Cake Shop, Sugar Skull. I finished Yippee-Ki-Yay on the 20th. And this has the list of all of the projects I've worked on so far this month. It tells me how many days I stitched. I didn't stitch on the 13th. Why didn't I stitch on the 13th? 13th. Oh, I had my Christmas party for work. And then the 19th. Why didn't I stitch? That was when I was sick. I mean, I worked a lot on the 17th, but the 19th. What was going on the 19th? I do not know. The 21st was cookie baking. And then I came home and did a Flosstube. The 19th, I don't know why I didn't stitch that day. I don't know what was happening. But this is the 22nd. Today's the 27th. So I still got stitches to do, and it's 10 p.m. Oh my God, what am I doing? I need to finish this up. So my timeline, this shows you when you've been working on a piece. I haven't really, honestly, I haven't really been digging into this. Oh, you know what? Let's change this to December. Here we go. So this is kind of telling you how long a project's been in progress if you have an actual start date. So like Friends Frame was started on the 9th of December. This information is all auto-populated. So yeah. And timeline dates interval, this little diamond here, because this is per week up here. And so that's why, like, the 9th happens to be the very first day of the week, I guess, and that's why that's all yellow. But yippee-ki-yay. Oh, that was a finish right there. So I haven't really been messing around with this too much, so I'm not really sure about all that mess. To be perfectly frank. Let me see. 15, I don't know. Yeah, honestly, I haven't really looked at all of this very much. So, and I think some of my stuff is delayed with progress because of the slowdown from having the size program that I needed. But this is my yearly summary. So I was saying this will be really good for the whip parade at the end of the year next year, because I'll be able to, probably combine this information from December with 2025, but this tells me in December I started, because that's all I have. But projects started this year. I've started 3 so far for the month of December. I finished 1. I worked on 38. I stitched for 16 days since I started putting this information in. This is going to tell me my highest stitching day, my highest month, my total stitches for the year. This is breaking down December even further, because again, as you progress in the year, all this is going to increase exponentially, because it's going to be a year's worth of information, not just what I've done for December. And then this tells you honeymoon sunset. In December, so far, I've done 2,806 stitches. And so this basically breaks down all of the information that you've entered in and tells you how many stitches you've done for the month per project. So that's pretty cool. And then it also, this last column tells you how many stitches you've done overall on the project. So these numbers will fluctuate as we get into next year. And again, I have not entered any of this information in. And I'm not really messing around with the design tab. But yeah, so again, this is from Rainbow Sheet Studio on Etsy. I want to say that the program is about 23 bucks. I think it is very well worth it. It is, seems pretty easy to use. I wanted to mess around with it for a few weeks before I did a video on this, because I wanted to be able to show you how everything was working out. I'm really enjoying using this so far. She busted her ass doing this program. I mean, this is like a number person's dream come true right here. I am super excited for this. I'm excited to see how everything will start looking as next year progresses, and I will have multiple months listed on here. So yeah, like this summary is really what I'm looking forward to seeing, the yearly summary. I may even do a little blip. I don't know if it would be a whole video by itself, or if I would add this into the monthly, the end of month recap, where I show you guys the monthly summary and all that jazz. But I think this is pretty cool. If you're interested, I will link, I'm going to link the program to the, oh my God. I'm going to link it down below in the description box if you're interested in this. And yeah, I'm also going to link Ebonys' video down below too, because that's what I watched that got me to buy this. In case you couldn't get convinced from me, I'm gonna link Ebony's video as well, and she can convince you too, because I think that this is pretty nifty, and I am excited to get going with this for the year. And yeah, so any questions you can leave in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.